Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Alternative Cycling Network. Hopefully, I still remember how to do this. It's been a hot minute since we've done one of these. And if you're not familiar, this is where we give you guys hot takes, unsponsored hot takes on the bike industry. I'm one of your co-hosts, Russ from Path Less Pedaled, and we've got Eric from the Spin That and Mike from Locked In. Hey guys!
It's been a minute, if you will.
It has been.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you guys have been wondering what's been going on. I think it was Mike who suggested that we do a holiday special, catch everyone up on what's been happening, talking bikes and all that stuff. I don't think we have a formal program, so if you guys have questions,
put them in the comments. It's just we're freewheeling. It's the Festivus special. So right. yeah. So we're just letting it roll. I think first off, obviously, like everybody, like we usually do, Russ, if anyone can remember all the videos that we've done since the last time we've done this, kudos. But let's just hit the heavy hitters. What have we done since? So Russ.
What have I done? Well, the one I remember the most recently is I reviewed some bike clothing from the brand Pedaled. Very expensive, and a lot of people make comments about that in the comments. And then I went on like a weird tangent about finding the perfect minimalist cycling shoe. So a couple of videos on that, and mostly just product things. Like we have winter here in Montana, so riding's been kind of a little slow.
Studded tires, are they now or are they later?
They're next week.
Okay. next week. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what is the riding in snow? I don't know if this is going to be a video you're going to produce, but like what is, like I've never, I mean, I've ridden in snow, but it's just like I had to go up a mountain and there was snow there. But like, what is you've done it a few times. What is the thing that you do that you would suggest to people to be like, all right, if you've never ridden in snow, you should X.
Move to Arizona, actually.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
No, it's tricky. Like as a person that didn't grow up in colder climates, like it's been a huge adjustment with layering, especially my feet get really cold, and you just can't ride the same way you do in the summer, right? During the summer or when it's warmer, you can build up a sweat.
Right.
But Erica's like, screw this.
He's like,
but did we say something to offend you, Eric?
Hey. No. Well, I can hear something about cold weather. And then like my audio crackles and when you guys are talking sometimes, I'm like, well, I need to hear this because I'm dying.
He's like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing like I've learned is you have to kind of control your efforts so you don't get sweaty and then freeze your ass later on in the ride. I don't know. What's your Canadian riding tips, Eric?
I mean, that's a good point. Is like I did that the other day. Like I did wear too much for the temperature that it was, and then rode too hard. And when we were just doing this little downtown fixed gear ride, and everyone wanted to stop every so often, and I'm like, I'm freezing. Like I wore way too much because I'm now soaked with all this cotton on, and where we are, we're close to the water all the time. We live near a harbor, so it's like you don't stop in the woods. You're stopping next to something that's blowing cold air off of water onto you. So, I mean, like when I was commuting to the shop every day and I needed to deal with the cold, like I would just know that I didn't have to stop, and I would try not to wear too much, which was tough because the shop wasn't insulated and it didn't really have like a source of heat. So it's like, okay, you need to bring something for being in there. But basically, like, you're going to be hot when you're riding like up a grade or
Right.
fighting traffic, and then it really sucks when you like start to go downhill or you stop for a little bit. So like if you're going to ride in the cold, keep it short, like layer,
Right.
and like try not to stop or like go down any descents. It's all like fairly common sense. If you do enough of it, you certainly learn what works and what doesn't. Like still to this day, I don't own a winter riding shoe, and I should.
Yeah.
Because like when you ride through puddles and stuff, that can start to suck a little bit. But you just kind of hold on tight and try and get wherever you're going. I haven't had to be nearly as hard as I used to be. Like working at the shop broke. Like no way that I'm driving my car to the shop. Like I used to just deal with everything, and now I'm like,
Right.
I don't really have to go out today, so I'm not going to.
Now that you're a baller YouTuber, you've gone soft, is what you're saying.
This is the pinnacle.
I'll just make a video inside.
Yeah. So let's catch up on channel videos. Like, how about Mike? How about you? What videos have you made recently that you've been?
There's been so many. It's been the turning my gravel bike into a 90s mountain bike. I thought that was.
I love that, like quasi trolling the commenters.
Yeah, but did you see like I made the biggest thing. I looked up. I was like, okay, 90s graphics, and then I tried to make it like this big montage of thing, and like try to change everything. Like that's been fun. And then basically I've been doing roughly, I think about 4 videos a week this month. So it's been all over the place. It's mainly reviews. So it's like a ton of stuff. Oh man, it's been all over the place. It's been that. It's been products. It's been kind of anything. I haven't done any vlogs. I've now finally starting to be able to ride more because of my shoulder. Mm-hmm. So the Redwood in a flat bar is like my pseudo mountain bike. So between everybody who watches this and my channel, Fuji may be on board to send me a mountain bike because they're like, Eric knows what he's doing, and they're like, well, you should try. I'm like, well, but I've crashed before. They're like, oh, it's fine. So they're gonna send me a hardtail. It's gonna be cool, hopefully. And so it's something that I've never done. I told them, I was like, I've never ridden a mountain bike, so I'd love to see the difference between this, like the Redwood with the flat bar, and that bike. So that's like, hopefully, fingers crossed, end of this year, early next year is when everything's going to come to fruition, because there's no bikes anywhere, as everybody knows. So if that works out, it'll be cool to see the difference between realistically what is something that's so foreign to me, as far as like mountain biking goes. And I know like Russ, you've had the Marins, like you've had, that are very different. And some of the salsas that you've had, but like that's a whole different beast compared to any rigid or gravel bike that you've had. So that was the cool part. Yeah, that was the cool thing for me that I'm excited about, because I have no idea what it's going to be like.
Yeah. So there are a couple comments that my audio is hot. I'm trying to dial it down, but I don't know. So let me know if it sounds better or if I'm too low now. How about you? Okay, Eric, what's been going on your channel? It looks like you've been putting out a video a day practically.
Yeah. Vlogmas.
Yeah, I tried to do like the daily thing, and I think people maybe started to see me burning out a little bit. And like there'd be the odd comments where people were like, it's cool to try and get into the routine a little bit, but certainly don't burn yourself out. And then I even saw myself starting to make like I was just like grasping at straws, like hoping, like I was like, shit, I need to make a video today, and I didn't. And I think there was one in here that was like, I fixed a pair of gloves, and I was like, I'm not happy with that at all, and I still posted it, and I was like, I can't. That was like when I slowed right down and like sort of tried to look at what kind of content I was actually making, and then maybe put a little more thought into like what I was going to do every day.
Right.
I still haven't figured that out. I don't think I ever will. I find myself constantly being like, I really want to make like the old content that I did when I was like riding to the shop every day. And I'm like, well, that's not feasible. I don't work at a shop. I'm not going to have that routine again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I guess I could, I don't know. The biggest thing I worry is like when I stop making a video every day or like close to every day, I'll go right into a lull of like no creativity.
Right.
So it's like I have to shoot something.
Yeah.
And I have to to edit something or else I'm like, I'm not in that groove and I won't do it.
Yeah.
So that's important. And
so I have a question then. So I have a question because it's like you're basically in the Vlogmas essentially. So is it every day it's a story that you're telling, or is it just like this is what I'm doing, I'm gonna film it and then put it out?
I mean, certainly I want it to like follow some sort of, I don't know, like everybody, I think anybody who's watched a lot of like vloggers, and then when Casey got really big and he was like, you know, like everything needs to be a story. Everyone wants to use that now. Like,
this is why Eric got a drone, everybody. This is why Eric got a drone.
Yeah, right. And everybody,
I mean, cinematic.
Like, and everybody regurgitates that like they know what they're talking about, and I don't think anyone has any idea whatsoever. They're like, it's all story, man, and I'm like, yeah, you heard that, I understand that, but like, there's a reason that you get excited about watching unboxing videos, and it's not story. Like that person's decent at telling you about something and making jokes. There's a reason that Unbox Therapy is a fun channel to watch. It's not story.
Right, yeah.
No, or like, but seriously though,
you know, like you know, car channels. Like you look at a car channel and it's like those guys aren't telling stories. They're just working on something, and people love cars. Like there's no story there. There's no substance to like there. Yes, if you're making a story about literally, or you're making a video about nothing, there better be a decent story to follow, because then no one's gonna watch it. But like, I hate that. I hate it. So, like the story thing, and like I find myself like trying to do that, and I'm like, well, it needs to be. And like, no, sometimes I'm just literally doing something stupid with my drop bar bike, and I want to make a video.
Yeah. No, I mean, shit. I mean, that's what I did with the last like
rant
gravel bike into like gravel bike into the 90s mountain bike. I was like, oh man, this should work. And then I was like, oh well. I was like, normally I'd be like, oh well, I'm not gonna film this. I'm gonna just try it. And I was like, no, this is what the people want. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put this into the video. Yeah. And then like, you know, so it's funny how this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the story arc. There it is, and it's weird how I have seen it. It's great. We should hit that.
Of course,
spin it. What are we on?
Let's see. Yeah, for me personally, to spice up the creativity, I decided to make a wheel of comments. Oh, and how fitting! Every bike is a gravel bike.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So I just imagine, you know, we work so hard in these videos. Like someone's, oh, I gotta clap back. No, we've heard it, buddy.
So like the best I think is when somebody does that, and once in a while I'll look and be like, oh, they must produce videos, because obviously they have a creative like, you know, so and so they have perspective. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, they obviously know what they're talking about, because the audio for my video is too quiet and I should have more enthusiasm. I'm like, okay, well, let me see what they produce. And then you're just like, oh, nothing. And then you're just like, all right, thank you. Like, I don't know what to do with it. It's great. There's once in a while, those kind of people are fun to play with. Let's just say, like, there's been a time where there was one guy, he was like, well, you should be in better shape if you're a cyclist. And that was his comment. And I just looked at it, I looked at the comment. I was like, all right. And I responded back. I'm like, thank you, kind sir. I will spend the 2 pennies I just made on your comment on my view on snacks. I appreciate it. Like, that was it. Like, I don't know what else to say to that. Like, what else?
Right.
What else is supposed to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, people are hilarious.
So State of the Union here. So all 3 of us are still doing this full time, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
So I know some people had questions about, why we stopped. A lot of life happened in between the last episode and this one. I think initially the first hiccups was, Eric, you were doing a movie gig or TV gig?
Yeah, I was working on a TV show.
He was a star.
Like when in the production world, like you don't know what your schedule is going to be basically for the next 48 hours. Like that you're probably going to work, but you don't know if your call time is going to be 7 a.m. or if it's going to be like 2:30 p.m. But each shift would typically be about like 14 hours. So like, we'd be talking about wanting to do this show. We'd be like, okay, so it's Tuesday. Eric, what's your schedule look like? And I'll look at the advanced schedule and I'll be like, well, Wednesday we're shooting early. So likely they're not going to make us come in late on Thursday. So we should be okay. And then like Wednesday morning, everything will still look pretty good. And then like that Wednesday night, I'll get a call sheet for like 12. Like, you got to come in at 12. And I'll be like,
no, it'd be like
guys,
Thursday. Everybody you'd want to start at like 5, and then at like 4:15, Eric would be like, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna be gone. Yeah, no,
like I'm still
yeah.
So,
he'd be like, I'm still there. I'm like, oh,
and I
fuck.
felt bad.
Like, you can't do anything about it. It's movie magic. That's that's what he's a part of. So you can't hate
leave.
on that. Yeah.
I felt guilty about it a lot. Like there's a lot. Like I felt really bad because I was like, here I am screwing this all up.
Yep. So everybody, if you ever got mad about ACN not being there, I got the comments.
It was me. Yeah,
it's Eric.
It was me.
It's Eric, everybody.
Yeah. On our front, like if you guys follow us on our channel, you know that Laura got diagnosed with cancer, so that kind of put the kibosh on lots of things. We're just plodding through, trying to make videos. So that was definitely what happened on our end. And Mike, you crashed your bike and you couldn't ride for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, I could sit here. I mean, so it's basically both of y'all's fault. It's fine.
Right.
I was good. No, but I couldn't do anything. So yeah, no, luckily I'm able-bodied enough now. I haven't done anything like crazy, let's say any rides that were prior to my accident yet, but hoping to soon. So hopefully
you should just get a recumbent, man.
It's thing. I watched what was that documentary? Inspired to Ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the couple of guys on recumbents on that I was like, I get it. 100% get it. Like
yeah. I don't.
Well, you know what, Eric? You dislocate and you fracture your shoulder twice in the same year. You'll figure it out. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess.
I saw a video that was going around called trike packing.
Oh God.
That could be a thing.
Is that gonna be the new for January? The trike. It's like bird packing, bird watching,
right.
Painting, fishing, and then that's the next one. I got it. All right.
Yeah, I'm starting to line up bikes for next year to review, which is really hard, by the way, because in a relatively small channel, bikes in big supply, like they'd much rather sell a bike than
obviously. Yeah. So so have to ask, so the new place, does it have more bike space? Is that like a
yeah, it's got it's gonna, if we get it and move in, there's like a garage and basement, which should store, easily store all the bikes that we have.
Got it.
Okay. And yeah, it should be good. I'm hoping that we get it. I'm gonna.
Okay. So what are the usable months out of the year? How many are there that like you can't, like it's the studded tire, can't do anything but fat bike or like winter bike?
Usually November until March, April.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
all right,
it's a stretch, but like this year, it's been pretty good. Like we've had a good dry spell, but we're expecting snow tomorrow or next week. So studs are going to go on. But yeah, so 3 of the bikes that I've lined up for next year are all step throughs.
Wow. All right. Moving on up. Moving on up.
Or mixties.
Well, that's the thing. I posted that and it was amazing, like how riled up people got. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do all weird bikes next year. That's your punishment.
Hell yeah.
So there might even be a tricycle.
Deal with it.
Love it.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. So, but literally,
I want
3 of them are going to be step throughs at the moment. So it should be interesting.
Wait, what's the oh God, what's that car? That it's not the Tricross. It's like the reverse motorcycle. No, it's not the Reliant Robin. Come on, Eric. It's no, but I want Russ to do it. I want it's like the oh God, I'm someone, I don't know if anyone in the comments is gonna say it, but it's like it's big and
two wheels in the front and one in the back.
Yeah, 2 wheels in the front, but it's big in like Las Vegas.
Right.
Oh God, I'm gonna totally butcher it.
Slingshot.
Anyways,
Someone said slingshot.
That's it. Yeah, the slingshot. Yeah, can we get Eric and Russ on the slingshot? I swear to God, it'd be so good. Oh God, it would be great. That slingshot. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Russ, so Eric, please look up the slingshot while we're talking about this, because like you have to understand like how good this is. It's gonna be great.
I love this. So Mike's blurry and Eric is frozen in a permagrid.
It's fine. It's fine.
Gee, production value, people. Is it?
Hey,
cinematic?
you know what? This is just because we haven't done this in a while. My camera forgot what it's like. That's what it is.
Yeah, Eric's back.
There it is.
Eric, you were extremely happy for about 3 minutes.
There's something so wrong with my audio. I can't hear anything.
Y'all wanted this back. This is what you asked for. This is what you asked for every single week.
It is.
This is it.
All its glory. All right, yeah. So Emerson asked, do we still drink when Eric freezes?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I didn't even freeze.
He is frozen. He is frozen.
You're...
That's Eric right now.
I'm just sitting here going, because all I can hear is.
No, the best part, Eric, is you're completely a statue, Eric. That's the best part. Like you're.
I know, but it's because I'm going. What are they saying, and how do I also say something?
At least we can hear you. We're just,
Well, it's
that's good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we got freeze dat. Yeah,
freeze dat.
If it makes sense.
This is, you all wanted it. This is it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, when's ACN coming back? And they're like, well, this is what you missed out on, apparently.
So is Canada gonna get a new
Wi-Fi?
New Wi-Fi next year? Is that on the list?
Shit, I'm sitting so close to it. I don't understand. It should be good.
The one Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi, if you will.
All right. Yeah. Someone said
no, wait. You have to go down one. Emerson, I forgot what it was like to get drunk on a Thursday. You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's this.
Yep, it's this. Yep. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. All right. So should we talk about actual bike stuff or? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you're back.
Well,
for the moment.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Real top cycling product, Netgear wireless router. You know.
Wait. Oh, Eric, hang on. Give it 10 seconds. Oh, there it is. His glasses are on. All right, everybody knows. All right.
Yeah. All right. Is it cinematic?
Do we miss this? I don't know. All right.
This is good content.
Man, I can't hear anything at all.
Oh, really? It's a bummer.
Like
Eric's
literally
like,
nothing.
Eric's watching this tomorrow.
He's like,
oh, well, that's what we were saying.
Yeah. What changed,
all
Eric?
I can hear is static.
I don't know.
I didn't change anything. I don't understand.
You're using your phone?
Yeah. Maybe I'll try the laptop. Just for funsies. I'll be right back.
Give it a go.
All right. Well, it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. Just say it.
That is true.
There it is. It can't get All right.
Eric Spinney, people. Thanks.
All right. Well, yep. It's a Festivus miracle. That's what it is.
Right. So has there been any new bike stuff that you've been excited about or got a chance to play with?
You know what? I have one thing that I've been like absolutely waiting to set up on my bike, but it hasn't come through. So the Ratio 12-speed setup for your 11-speed SRAM shifters. I have it. It's right there. It's I've been so excited to try it out. So the big thing was they actually emailed me today. So the big thing with their setup is because it uses a GX rear derailleur, you have to have like the kind of standard mountain where your shift cable has to come out of the frame set like a lot sooner than like just right at the rear, like a lot of like gravel bikes do. Yeah. So they just updated to where they're like, oh, well, now we're going to have a new like rear exit setup. I'm like, oh, cool. Cause it won't work on my Cobalt. So I'm really hoping that works out with the Garbaruk rear cage to try it out, because essentially the nice thing with 12-speed, which I get for mountain, it kind of sucks because your chain's so thin, but for gravel, I'm like, I get it because it's that extra gear ratio. Because if you look at any 2x combination, you're getting 14 unique gears. So if you can get 12 instead of 11, that kind of smooths out the middle usually. So that's what I'm really stoked about. I'm really hoping that it all works out when everything comes in. I have a new Garbaruk cassette that's going to come in. That's going to be their 1052 because I'm trying to see if it'll do the big capacity. But that's honestly what I've been most stoked about in this year, and because yes, it's a little finicky to put it in, supposedly, from what I watched. But to be honest, to make it kind of seamless for me, road and mountain, like if I had multiple wheel sets, like I want them all to work together. Hey, he's back. Yeah. That's where I'd want, them to communicate to each other. So if I can make it all seamless, that would be cool.
Yeah. Say something, Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric.
Yay!
This sounds way better. I don't know what's going on with my phone. The old trusty iPhone trick.
Yeah.
Apparently,
here's what's been going on with
iPhone 3. Actually,
3G, Brian. 3G.
I've been thinking it might
3G.
Be fun to like make a video about what kind of phone I'm still using, but that might be like
Eric's
2
like,
years.
Wait, you mean there's more after the iPhone?
Like,
the original
how many
iPhone? What? So Eric, you've been messing around with Advent X stuff. What have you thought about it?
I mean, I think you put it the best way, like calling it charming, like mechanically charming.
Yeah.
Like I was riding the Redwood today with the drop bar Advent X on it. And like, yeah, it is. That's the best way to put it, because like it works every time. But like, it is not as smooth's not the word, because I don't. It is different. Like it's kind of like, you just clunk
For chunk.
and it goes like it does go. It goes exactly where it's supposed to go. Like
Right.
it's not noisy.
It's not refined.
Yeah, but it's just like it's like, well, it's like, a guy at work that does his job but doesn't want to be friends with anybody. Like,
wait. So I have to ask, the trigger shifter, is it a little too easy? Because I think it is. It's like,
well, you got so I've got Advent 9 on my trail bike.
Yeah.
So I equate the way it shifts to the way that like hybrids with like 8 or 7 speed like Shimano drivetrains shift, and I love that feeling. Like that feeling where it's just like click and it goes like right into the next gear, like no drama, no like, oh, it's so smooth. I'm like, no, it just kind of does it. It does it. And then when you want it to come back, it does that. But it just has the added benefit of the clutch, which I like a lot. And like, I'm not nice to anything I own. Like I roughhouse everything. Like even moving things around just in the shed. Like I'll just be like, when I'm shooting and if something's in the way, I'll literally just kick it out of the way. Like I won't like the only time that there's ever any sort of like thought or like it'd be nice to do this is like when I first go into the shed. Like it's like, okay, I'm going to move everything out of the way. And then when I start vlogging or shooting, if something's in the way, it's like, actually my drone's in this, so I'm not going to throw it. But like, it'll be like, get out of here. Like you're in the way of the tripod and I need that space. Yeah. So like derailleur hangers like get bent all the time. And that's why this room exists, is literally for like the nice bikes. And I'm like, I can't have the derailleur hanger get bent on this because I don't want to deal with it. So like the nicer bikes live in here. I mean, the shed's also like this thin, so like you could break into it very easily. But like also like these are the bikes that I don't want to get ruined, so they have to live in here instead of the shed, where like it's just a gauntlet of terribleness that can happen at any given moment. And Advent X is totally fine with it. Advent's like, yeah, bend the derailleur hanger. I don't give a shit. Right. Like, can't do that with XTR.
No. Yeah. So let's actually talk about the Redwood. Like this is just really briefly, because it is someone that asked, is the Redwood the only bike that all three of you have ridden?
Yes. I think
probably.
so.
And I think the answer is yes.
Yep.
I don't know. I think we've all given our individual takes on.
I've never done a review of the bike ever.
No,
I never will.
Yeah. Well, how about we just go counterclockwise and give our 1 or 2 lines about it and see where we line up or don't. For me, at least in the size small that I rode, it definitely rides more like a drop bar mountain bike than a cross bike with big tires, just because of the higher trail. It has a little bit more mountain bikey high trailiness to it. And I think part of that's like the big stock tires it comes with, and but also like the trail numbers kind of on the high side. I think it's pretty neat. Like I feel like it's almost like a salsa cutthroat. You get a lot of advantages of the cutthroat, but at like a third of the price. So it's cool to see that come down. And that's my take.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting, I think, is the best way to take it, because it is very, I mean, that's kind of why I did the series I did. It was like the gravel bike into a 90s mountain bike. It is very like, if you were to kind of go back and do what I did, was, flat bar that bike with the head angle and everything else and the tire clearance in a modern age, it's kind of essentially a rigid mountain bike. And so I think it's fun in that way. It's very different in my perspective versus the drop bar to flat bar. But it's also like playful, and it's kind of fun that you can see so much of a difference in a character change, almost, I guess is the best way to put it, between the two.
So does it steer quicker or slower when you converted it?
To me, it was slower. I did have to, I mentioned in the last video, like kind of have to go outboard to kind of cut back in. And that was with, I'm essentially running the same drop or flat bar setup that they're running on their Poseidon X. So it's the same 730 mil like flat bar, same Tektro brakes, same Advent X shifter. So it's not the widest thing ever. And I'm still running the 80 mil stem. So it could be more responsive with a shorter stem, but that's just what I've run on it since. I have a company that's supposedly supposed to send me an 80 mil like shock stop stem, basically, essentially, to like see if it helps out. But if I go wider on the bar, like most modern mountain bars are, I'm probably going to go to a shorter stem. I just haven't got any bars yet to try that out yet.
Yeah. How about you, Eric? Your 2-sentence thoughts.
So
does it ride like a cross bike to you, or is it like a different beast?
It almost kind of rides like a pretty heavy cross bike with big tires. I like it more than the X. Everybody's always asking me that, like, what, which one would you keep? And I'm like, well, I like the Redwood. I like the shape of the Redwood, 1, 2, and that's just like visual. Like visually, I like the Redwood better. And then the way it rides, they're similar enough in my mind. I think I make it pretty clear. I'm a pretty unpicky rider. I'll get used to anything. So like when I spend enough time on it, anything I can do on any other bike, I can do on it. So I'm like, I'm good in that regard. I didn't like how slow it was at first. It seems as I've like broken those tires in a little bit, maybe gotten the fit more right, that has become less of an issue. Even today, like I was riding it today and I was on asphalt quite a bit, and I just put a new saddle and seat posts on it from like the second stuff that I had put on, and that changed the way it rode quite a bit. And I don't mind it so much on the road. I'm excited. I've been like purposely skidding it as much as I can to just like destroy the stock tires and have an excuse to buy something else, because I think it's ridiculous to replace a good tire like immediately. So I'm just kind of burning them as hard as I can, so that it's like, okay, like I want to paint it and I want to put like I want it to be super loud, like very 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 loud. So yeah, there's one thing I don't like about it, and it's the dropouts on the rear. I've been fighting, and not, like just not thinking, but I've been fighting with like a loose rear wheel all the time, and I'm like what the fuck is wrong with this thing? And then today I was like, it is maintenance time, so like the bottom bracket's creaking, so like it just needs to be taken apart and cleaned. Like I think everybody knows I don't take very good care of my bikes, and I ride in like the worst conditions. Like I'll put bikes away like dirty and be like so dirty. So like I was like taking the bottom bracket out and cleaning it and re-greased it and stuff to quiet it down. And I was like, it's time to look at what is wrong with this axle. And it's like, oh, the 2 set screws that hold the dropout in are just straight up loose. So like that is why the wheel is shaking back and forth. Maybe I shouldn't have been like hopping barriers and like skidding around a descent today. Oh well. So just threw some Loctite on them and like tightened them down. I think that's pretty, like, I always hate mentioning stuff like that about like a young internet company, because like people immediately like jump at the throat of that company to be like, see, look. And it's like, I worked at a Specialized dealership and we had problems with their bikes all the time. Like stuff that like say Colin or me or whoever was on like assembling bikes that day didn't want to do a good job. And then you build 4 or 5 bikes in a day. Like you're like when that bike leaves, everyone's like, well, that one's coming back. Like for sure it's coming back. So those are my 2 sentences on the
Redwood. You guys in the YouTube comments, if you have any questions or topics that you want us to answer during the holiday special.
You love this, remember.
Here's one. So Mikey Non asks, what upgrades or bikes are on your holiday wish list? If money was no object, Michael, you go first.
Oh, damn.
You can go baller.
A new apartment to fit more bikes in.
Money's no object.
It's tough because like even with the money's no object thing, like there are some crazy bikes out there that I'd be like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, like. But realistically, like I like what I like. I honestly it just literally space. Like that is the money
it's a
no
bottleneck.
Object. Yeah,
it's a bottleneck.
Like, pay for my rent. Yeah. And who's next?
How about you, Eric? Money is no object, biker component or whiz bang thing?
Yeah, I on my radar right now is like a custom steel full suspension. Doesn't like some of them are crazy expensive. I've been looking at Marino out of I think he's in Lima, Peru. He does like custom steel 4130 frame sets. He does them for $550 US.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get one. So money no object. Basically the parts from the felt are gonna go on it. But the next step for money no object would be like just like wildly posh suspension and wheels and tires, but like still pretty normal drivetrain because like wheels can be tough. Suspension is a beautiful thing to have nice of, but drivetrains can still get hit by rocks. So it's like money might not be no object when it's getting built, but maintaining it, money becomes a bit of an object then. And then like I have zero, I have like no loyalty to any handlebar, stem, seat, or seat post company whatsoever. I will not. I'll not die on any hill for any handlebar, stem, seat, or seat post.
Nice. I'd like a really baller set of light wheels. I have lightish wheels at the moment, but I'd like to break that 1,500 gram barrier.
Oh, dude.
And just for funsies, in terms of components for bikes, I'm still digging that Bear Claw Thunderhawk. I think if I had the dollars, I'd probably buy that with the tie fork. I mean, I love how it rides. And I would have bought it if I didn't buy the crust already, but it is what it is.
Those forks that have the like the fork crown like that with 2 like fork legs coming off of it.
The fork legs, yeah. Sure.
I have been wanting to get. So I've been actually. You know what? I take back everything I said. I want a Klein.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know if you've seen. So because I'm building the Guru now, I don't know if you guys saw that frame set, but it's stupid looking. It looks like a Cannondale Killer V 900 or whatever. But it was definitely someone's custom bike at some time because Guru then would have only done custom frames. And I was like, man, a friend of me and I, we're talking about doing like a 90s or like 80s or 90s mountain bike ride and like have a bunch of people out. But if you want to ride, you have to ride something of that vintage. And I'm like, I don't want to use the rock hopper because it's got drop bars on it. So I need something else.
Aggressive.
Do gravel bikes count? Because I hear that they're just 80s or 90s mountain bikes.
But yeah, everybody says that. Well, that's all they are. And in some ways they are. There's certainly some tweaks. But yes, I think that if the era is correct, that you could bring it out. I want something like if you're going to bring something out, it has to be welded in the 80s or 90s.
Gotcha.
But anyway, the guy that I'm doing that with, he owns a Klein. He has one, and he got it early enough that he only paid $1,000 for it, like the way it is. And I'm like, Rob, is your like, do you have a Klein Attitude, which is like the good one with the aluminum fork and everything? He's like, yeah, I paid $1,000 for it. And I'm like, oh, there's one on eBay right now for like $10,000, which is just stupid. Like, yeah, what a ridiculous. And I think that actually made me want one more. Was like, oh, they're like $8,000 or $9,000 now.
Bonkers.
I want one of those because it's just stupid. And then I'd probably ruin it with drop bars or something. Like,
let's see. Any other interesting comments? Well, let's talk about since the New Year's coming up. Any thoughts on how this year has gone? I know we've all been taking the YouTubes more seriously this year, and hopes, dreams, and plans for 2021. Mike, how about you kick it off?
I think with the new year, it's gonna be different. I think with everything going on, and the bike just not being available. I think people are going to be riding what they're going to be riding. I think the year of like the hack or the bodge or us is going to be very prevalent of, making what you have work. So I think that's going to be big this year because realistically, like all these new bikes are going to be very hard to get. I don't think tech is going to really progress like it has because of supply and demand. I mean, I think that any manufacturer is going to be hard pressed to put out a complete bike, let alone like something new. So I think that's going to be the big year. I think this year is going to be the big year of people tinkering, So I'm excited for that because we've seen some weird stuff, just let alone on our stream of this. So I'm excited for that, but I think that's what this year is going to be, is just like people are going to get the bikes that they've possibly ordered 7 months ago, and then everyone's going to be riding, and then getting bored and wanting something to do with it. So that's what I'm excited about.
I'm curious to like what extent bike racing will return, or if it's still going to be another off year. I know they really kind of bullied through the tour and some of the grand tours, but like local races, if it's still going to be shut down.
I would, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they just delivered a bunch of vaccines, so maybe we're on the. Who knows? Like I noticed like a pretty big.
You have to be a really good basketball player to get a vaccine, though, is what I've heard.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like I remember this summer, pretty fondly and vividly. It almost seemed like there was nothing going on. Like there was just a random kind of like a flu. That like you should be careful of, but like we were able to go to restaurants. We were able, like Angela and I basically just lived our lives with a mask on our face, and there was no real difference other than that. And only in the last I finished working on set November 3rd, and I got to do another probably 2 weeks ago was it like, oh, this is real again? We need
Right.
to like. So I would say, because they're they are working on that vaccine, it's being delivered, that by summer again, that someone like me, who's probably not going to be allowed to get it for another year and a half, I probably don't have as much to worry about. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But am I going to be able to come like visit you guys in the States? Probably not.
Right.
So like, that's real. That's racing talk right there, is like people who are good, they go, down to the States to race with the big guys, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to do that? Probably not. But local races, like they tried to have local races here, and they were able to do it for a little bit until all the restrictions really picked up again, and the organizers were like, "It's not worth it. We're just gonna get in trouble. Maybe nobody gets sick, but we're gonna get in trouble. So let's not risk it."
What's it like in California, Mike? I know that they've been cracking down recently.
So I live in Orange County, and it's recently just re-cracked basically down on everything. So every business, I've heard different things, but supposedly it's basically how it was when it basically first started. So everything's shut down completely. Non-essential businesses are non-essential. So it's been something where I can see the community kind of fighting back, because they want to offer this, the ability to help, their employees or the owner of the company or whatever to help them out. But realistically here, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's something that it's kind of how it was when it first started. So you can't really go against that, but you see the resurgence of it, where like you want to help that out because you don't obviously want it to spread.
Right.
So it's been difficult, I think is the best word to put there. Just because unfortunately people have been ignorant, and it has gotten worse in my area. So this is why they're doing what they're doing. So unfortunately they have to do this. You wish they didn't. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at.
Yeah. Here in Montana, it's it's a lot of open space, fewer people, but still, like it's starting to spread here. Like the local hospital canceled all like elective surgeries just because everything's starting to fill up.
Yeah.
And Laura's like immunocompromised because she's going through chemo, so like I cannot bring it back here. So we're those people that like wear masks everywhere, even just like walking down the street, because it's you don't want to roll that dice.
Yeah.
So interesting time. So someone here had asked, do we think direct-to-consumer market will dominate in 2021? I think this is a pretty dang good year for it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think there's a few companies have done it. I think they've done well. But I think that's gonna be something that's there's always the plus and minus to direct consumer. There's always that. If you look at I'm a little biased, but like if you look at Giant, you order a Giant online, they're gonna send you a shop so that it's professionally built, and you have a shop that you can go to and work with ever since you buy your bike.
You know what would be a great business to start now? Like if I had like halfway decent mechanic skills, I'd totally do like a mobile mechanic,
Sure.
Because like with the shops being slammed and people not wanting to leave their house.
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
If you can go, just leave your bike outside and I'll deal with it. And then, whatever.
Yeah, if you could true my wheel outside, hell yeah. I for whatever reason, it's like my one thing I can't do. But yeah, like I totally get that. Yeah, it's something where now, even with friends of mine, it's just like, well, who can work on your bike the fastest? Like that's the race. It's just now it's like you're like, well, that shop should be good enough to do this. But they can get it done tomorrow, not next week. Hell
they just became good enough.
They just became good enough. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
But I'm curious about like those companies like VeloFix, like if they're having a moment,
We have a VeloFix in town.
Oh, really?
and I know the guy who works for them, and I've actually I've not wanted to buy the proper bleed kit for my TRP brakes and the new SRAM brakes I have.
Same.
And I'm just like I already own three bleed kits. Like, I'm not buying another bleed kit. I'm sick of buying bleed kits. And I keep thinking like how weird would it be to get like a friend to come with VeloFix to my, would we hang out in the van or would we hang out in the shed? Hey man.
Depends who's spending the most money.
Hey,
Is this video sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends? Okay, that's what we're talking about.
I'd hit up VeloFix, man. That sounds like an awesome sponsored video. It's like, hey, you want your bike worked on in the middle of a pandemic? Call VeloFix.
In the snow, in the rain, sleet, or snow, we will fix your bike that you won't ride, but it's fine. It's know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm excited for just as another segue back into the snow thing. I am excited to ride in the snow again. That's super fun.
Do you fat bike or what's your?
So when the first bits of snow start to come down, I typically ride my cross bike on multi-use trails, knowing that the snow is probably not going to stick around for a little bit, because having your tires cut through snow that's only 3 or 4 inches deep is just super, super fun. And then when a big dump enough of snow comes down that snowshoers need to go out to get the trail packed down, and then fat bikers and stuff will ride on it. Once that starts to harden up, I'll ride my hardtail on it.
Okay. Do you ride studs or no?
I don't, but not because I don't want to. Every time I see the price, I'm just like, ugh, God.
Yeah.
But to ride more, so I've never used them. I've never tried them. So to me, because I'm a pessimist, I immediately go, well, they make no difference. And I've not ridden them.
They make a difference.
Nothing has proved me otherwise. But there's no good choices for there's only for a mountain bike. I mean, any bike really, right? It's mostly just Schwalbe.
No, Terravale's come out with tires. They actually came out with a 650B by 38 and a 2.1.
Okay.
And I've got on my Timberjack, I've got 27.5 by 2.8 or 3 inch, I think, studded.
Oh, cool.
So there used to be there's Schwalbe and one other brand, but QBP Terravale is coming out with their own set.
Do they? So they have 27.5, but would they have my cross country bike's 29?
They do.
And they have.
Yeah, you can get 29.23.
Oh my God, that's big. But the ice bike.
Eric, if you want some 29 by 2.6 pan racers, just hit me up. As long as you ship it out there, I'll give it to you.
And then we'll just spend $700 to get them shipped to
fine.
Canada.
That's what you normally spend.
Well, you know what you could do? I don't have the patience for this video, but you could just stud some old mountain bike tires, do DIY.
Yeah,
get
so
thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks.
How many thumbtacks will it take?
I've got a friend local here who, when cross season was ending and it used to get cold, the lakes would freeze, and he would do ice racing, when a lake froze, he'd shovel out a course, and he'd be okay, everybody stud some tires, and we'll have a flat track studded tire race. And he would stud tires with sheet metal screws. Yeah. And I've never tried it, obviously. So I'm still not sold on studded tires. Mostly because of the price. They're so expensive.
They are expensive. A fat
DIY?
It's expensive in time.
Yeah. And my time's worth a lot.
In Canadian.
Canadian dollars.
So what was the original? I think we were going around talking about like what we were going to do. Eric, how about you? Plans for 2021? Are you gonna get the factory or the warehouse set up by then?
You know what? There's like people who I think believe in it more than I do. Like sometimes in the comments they'll be like when there's a good video, they'll be like, "Yeah, man, this is gonna happen sooner than you think," which is like a nice thing to hear. I'm like, well, maybe. One thing that I'm trying to do is like train the channel, its subscribers, and the algorithm to allow me to make more than just cycling content. Like I've always said that, but it's like I want to be able to I want to be able to make a video of my motorbike, or like I want to be able to make a video of something, and like there's still like that group of people who are interested. Right. And I made a motorbike video this week and people were into it. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like I was, you know, that nervous feeling you get when you're like, this isn't going to do well, but I made this video for myself. And
right.
You know, you're going to get those comments where it's like, hey, maybe make a different channel for this. Or like, you know, there's nobody here. Like, this isn't why I subscribed. And,
right. The comment wheel starts spinning.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, damn it. Like, here I am doing this thing that I really like doing in another sense. And, you know, and I'm going to be made to feel really bad about it. Right. And that didn't happen. And I was like, the world is okay. The world is an okay place.
Yeah. I mean, so I think it is a challenge. Like when you've been doing, you know, videos on a singular topic, you know, you have other interests. Like, how do you keep it fresh for yourself?
Yeah. And I'm like, you know, and I toyed with that idea where I was like, I'll just make a channel called Eric Spinney and I'll be able to make whatever I want. But the same thing would happen. Like it'd be predominantly cycling with like the sprinkle of other stuff. Because that's like all I know. It's like I've done it my whole life. So it's like, well, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. But that's kind of the idea is like, and I want to try to maybe make more. Like I need to train myself to be okay with making videos that aren't for subscribers and it's for gathering more people into the channel. Right. Like it's like, you know, once a month you should be trying to make something that's, you know, fairly broadly interesting for like, you know, a mom in Timbuktu. Like she would be like, oh, that looks cute, or like that looks fun. Right. And that she would watch it, or like such a broad group of people would watch it that they're like, well, what is this guy's deal? And then they're kind of interested in seeing something more from you. I mostly just want to be able to. I'd love to have a viral video. I think that would be really cool.
We all would.
Yeah. So like I have a few ideas for like what I think could work. But they're going to take more than a day. And I'm like, I have a hard time with that. I'm like, you're not going to be able to make this video in a day. Like you have to actually work on it.
And like, save your files. You can't delete them right away. So
and you can't. Yeah. And I'm not like
weird. Yeah.
You know, I never really done that before. But I think they'll do well. Like I think that they could get run with. So like, you know, I think it's getting kind of late in the year now to try and get one out now. December would be a really, really good time to do it.
To go viral.
Yeah.
CPMs are good.
CPMs are good, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. 2021 for us on PLP. Hopefully we're gonna be moving into a new space, and I won't have to take down this table every time I do a live stream or film something. So I think 2021 is going to be about optimization in terms of being able to schedule out content and, you know, maybe batch produce more. Like I was getting into, you know, batch producing videos and it was going really smoothly, and then life kind of happened, and it just broke the rhythm. So getting back into that, and ideally, like one of the bigger projects we want to do is actually come out with some kind of product in 2021. So either work with a designer and come up with something interesting or new rather than just rebranding something, but also like venture into, we'll have some more merch. I think socks will be next, but it'd be cool to actually collab with a bike brand and do something. So
would it be branded under like this name by chance?
Gravel specific? Nice. Yeah. I don't know whether it would be branded under. It might just be, I don't know. But just
you should make a GPS thing called the.
There you go.
With an R at the end, the party pacer.
Nice. Thanks for getting those, by the way.
Very welcome.
You pay for this product placement? That's what I want to.
I'm just mostly excited that they did get lovingly fondled when they went in the envelope.
Very. You don't know. You don't want to know to what extent they were lovingly fondled.
Please keep it to yourself.
But yeah, just keep on keeping on. I think we're channels at 93,000, so we're gonna hit 100,000 soon. Never as quickly as you would want. Like I remember we were talking a couple months ago. I was doing like 4 or 5 videos a week.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to like power through, and I just got tired. And now it's like, whatever. It'll get there,
Yeah,
it'll get there when it gets there.
Because I had that same at this time last year. I was like, by the summer, I want to be at 50.
Yeah.
Nowhere near there now. So, but I know the same thing happened. I was like, it'll happen eventually. Like the viewership is there. Nobody seems to really mind the extra ads. Certainly it comes up from time to time where someone must not have had an ad for a little while, and then they get into one of my videos and they're like, cool, 11-minute video with 4 ads in it. I'm like, yikes, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I thought election season was bad, like in terms of ads, but like Christmas season's even worse. Like I almost want to get YouTube Premium just
You're like,
not watch that shit. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like we've all done over the course of the year a pretty good job at developing our own identities as YouTubers. Like we all talk bikes, but we're all pretty distinct.
Yeah.
Our own takes. So that's kind of cool to see like-minded channels that aren't, just look like one channel.
Just the same.
Cool. Yeah.
I got sent a I don't know what the podcast is called, but I listened to it. It was with Cycling Maven. And then what's that Cameron
Nichols or Cameron Jeffers? Cam Jeffers?
Yeah, Cam Jeffers. They have a podcast with someone, and it was like Cycling Maven talking about like how he burnt out and like thought he wanted to come back or something. It's a fairly interesting conversation with like kind of the OG like cycling vlogger. He really is.
Right.
And then like, someone else who's so much younger, and like it took off for him so much more than it like ever did for, I think his name's Mark, isn't it? Is Cycling Maven's name. And, Cam's just like, I have some videos that have like 1.5 million views or whatever. And you just see Mark's face is like, he's like,
yeah.
Nobody watched my stuff like that. Like nobody, like the love for it wasn't quite there. Like there wasn't people just so hungry for this sort of content, and still kind of isn't. Like this is definitely a tough segment to try and make content in, because there's so many people doing it and there isn't that many people watching it.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I really like cycling. Like Cycling Maven was a great channel. Like it was really, he was like, I think one of the first to like vlog with a Canon G7X or something. It's like, oh, you can do that on the bike and it looks good. Do you guys think that channels with a more clear focus on like the sports end of cycling perform better, just because the audience is trained to search for that stuff, like vegan cyclists or.
I think they're the outliers.
Yeah.
I think those are the guys that may be titled correct, like they knew how to play it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the vegan cyclist name is tough to not want to click on, because when he would have started, there would have been a lot of people who were like, vegan, God,
like the funny part is like I'm vegan and I cycle. I'm like it won't never hit that hard. So
right, and it's not it's not part of your identity as much though, right? So like
right, yeah,
like no one would know that,
right? He did it the peak of when he should have, and it's worked.
Yeah, and like he's big. I don't really watch. I can't watch racing content. I'm just not interested in in it, because I find it trains you to really want very, very posh, expensive stuff. And the bikes are hard. Like it's hard to have expensive bikes for one, but then like the kit and the look that goes with it. Like I'll follow the guys who have nice road bikes, nice mountain bikes, nice whatever, but they also have the $400 or $500 shoes, the $500 helmet, like all that. And I'm like, man, I've had the same $60 helmet for the last like 5 years. And like, it sat in front of a heater for a little bit and it's like kind of melted. I was mad like 3 weeks ago and I threw it against the wall like really hard, and I'm pretty sure I dented it. And I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I can't afford another helmet.
Right.
And I crashed in it like not that long ago and hit my head, and it dented it too. So
yeah. Here you go, Mike. Time to rebrand. Mike's vegan bikes.
That's it. Yeah. Mike's bikes won't sue me for that, apparently.
Well, there's no I there, so you'd be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The kiss.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think, should we take it home? It's like,
let's take it home.
Let's take it home. All right, we're gonna take it home. Thank you everyone for joining us at this holiday special. It's kind of a random catch up. Yes, we're still all alive, making content on our individual channels. It turns out really hard sometimes to schedule 3 people in 3 different states and 2 different countries. So,
one's in Canada.
Right. Yeah, they've only got one Wi-Fi router.
And we all have to share it. Thankfully, I was able to get it for the last half of our live stream.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's it. We'll try to make this on the regular. I think once again, life happened. Any last words, Mike?
I'm just happy to.
Yes, good to be back.
Talk to you guys again. Yeah.
Nice. Commiserate.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe. And if you like this, there's a ton of hour-long just bullshit sessions to watch to keep you entertained during the holiday season. And as always, keep bikes weird.
I think
that was that it.